Okay, we are recording now on a Zoom conversation. Tanya McHale, family nurse practitioner, and Dr. Shattower, family practitioner. And we just wanted to have a conversation today for our patients, for our family, for our friends, and for the public, just to start talking more about the introduction of the vaccine for COVID and what that means to our lives and how we're going to proceed from here on out. I think it's a real personal process for everybody, but we wanted to bring out the things that were given, the messages that are given to us right now by the public health officials, including Dr. Fauci and the CDC, that there are some categories that need to be cautious about this vaccine. Already there were some anaphylactic reactions, so anybody that ended up in serious complications. So anybody that has allergies, which can lead to anaphylaxis in certain circumstances, they have to be very careful. So there's large groups of people now that are being warned that they need to be cautious and talk with their doctor before they actually get the vaccine. Another large group, is the women of childbearing age, because the fetus was never included in the studies. So pregnant women and fetuses and the exposure of the vaccine to the fetus, since it is an immune response type vaccine, and there's huge immune systems that are engaged during a pregnancy, that you should really talk with your doctor before you actually get this vaccine if you're of childbearing age. And maybe another large group is anybody that's immunocompromised. That again, since there is an condition of the immune system already, there hasn't been enough time to give the AOK to the group who has an immune compromised system. And then, of course, the people that are lining up to get the vaccine, there's a kind of an order as to who gets to go first. And so there are millions upon millions of people that are waiting and will be waiting for the next few months in order before they get their vaccine. So I know from talking with patients and from my own personal experience, this kind of a give and take in the media really does raise the level of anxiety and questions. And there's a lot of patients that are a lot of there's a lot of the percentage of the population that actually is hesitant to get the vaccine. So adding all this up, Tanya and I, you've been so great in giving me that support, and also the conversations I'm having with the patients is what, in the meantime, if there is a chance that you won't be getting the vaccine for the near future, what can you do? Do you just sit and wait for the inevitable that you're going to get sick? No. And we don't want to feel that way, because once you start feeling that fear, obviously it starts to weigh on you and is not good for the whole process. So I think, and I don't know, what are you hearing from your patients these days as far as the vaccine and what's going to happen now?
Yeah, I'm hearing lots of questions about, the safety and the efficacy and the availability. When is it going to come into play? Are they a good candidate for it? And a great deal of fear, because one of the things that we're hearing, as breaking news in the last week or so has been that there's a new variant of COVID-19 that is more contagious, not necessarily more virulent, but more contagious. And so it does definitely make you think, especially if you have someone in your circle who's been affected by this, does this mean I have to do, how much more social distancing can I do? And is there anything else I could do that would support me in this? And I believe that's really always been our focus. Our philosophy of care has been to really look at the capacity of the body to be such a good responder to viruses and bacteria. I think we have the privilege of seeing lots of little kids, and it's quite remarkable remarkable how children have such an amazing immune system, because they do get exposed to a lot of things, but at the same time, they heal so quickly. And they're just a great, model in how well the body functions.
Yeah, and I think that leads us right into how we can use that example of a great immune system and how can we access that as we get into our adult years. I mean, is there a way to maintain the resilience that was born into us even as little children, and is there a way to sustain that now? And that's the exciting part when you consider the highest of highest technologies that have gone into the development and now the distribution of this vaccine. If that's over here, and over here you have a picture of the elegance of the immune system, the way it's born into us, and the innate possibilities and potentials, and the resilience that is the technologies of nature that are inside of our cells are mind blowing. And
Yes.
if we can take that into our system, I mean, even our brain and our heart, that takes that anxiety and the fear factor down. And when you take the anxiety and the fear factor down, you actually boost that crazy, elegant system that you have inside of you. Everybody has it, and the ability to heal not only can be in children, they are our teachers. So what is it?
Yeah.
What are the things that we can do, Tanya? I just am ready for anything you have to say to help
Yeah.
the patients of the Green Medical Practice and everybody else that wants to access our services.
Absolutely. I mean, I think a lot of what we do is remind people of things that they already know on some level. The basis of green medicine, using plants, fruits and vegetables as the basis of a good diet, and how to wean off the more toxic substances in our life, like sugar and dairy and gluten, how to actually get off of those things.
Mhm.
And it's amazing to me, like getting to that 9 to 13 servings a day is really important. And that's just the basis. So if you look at it kind of like a pyramid, and we have the basis of plant medicine on the bottom with accessing those fruits and veggies as the basis, then we add things along the way specific to really creating a good immune system. And over the past 10 years or so, I've learned so much more about the microbiome and how the microbiome is really the basis of good health.
And the immune system. It's like,
Yes.
right, how the immune system is bolstered, created, and then given its strength.
Yes, absolutely. And we, I think both of us came out of time in medicine where that was not incorporated into our initial training. But it's been amazing to read studies and to get validation of how important, pre and probiotics are. And where do prebiotics come from? Well, like the dew on healthy green kales and things like that are filled with them, and that activates the probiotic in your body. And having that great mix of bacteria, we tend to view bacteria as like a villain historically, but bacteria and viruses are a part of our bodies. There's something inherent in them, and a healthy part of our bodies. It's what helps us to be adaptive.
I love that. I love that. I love the image in my mind when I think of a healthy microbiome is like a beautiful, pristine rainforest that has so many species and colors and health and greens and yellows and birds and animals and the healthy trees and the feeling of the air as you're walking through a forest. I mean, if we could be as small as a bacterium and go inside of our gut, that's what we would see. And that power and how it can be destroyed very easily. It's fragile, just like the rainforest is. It can
Yes.
be destroyed very easily with poor diet, poor environments, poor attitudes, negative feelings, all of those things can affect that microbiome, which is the source of our strength. So
Absolutely.
microbiome, fruits and vegetables. Another one that I like to talk about is vitamin D. Vitamin
Absolutely.
D comes from the sun. Obviously, we are connected to nature in so many ways. And the sunshine, the warmth of a summer sun that we all love and we're craving for right now is our source of vitamin D. And in the wintertime, obviously, it goes down. So we have to worry about making sure that vitamin D level is up. And that's one thing we love to do is to do vitamin D levels in the office. And
Mhm.
so if you're out there and you're wondering about your D level, come in. We need to check it out because that small little molecule goes into every single cell in your body and is the mechanism for turning off and turning on the immune system in all its strength and glory. It's like a computer. If you are immunocompromised, the vitamin D will actually raise your level of ability to fight infections, turn on systems that are antimicrobial, in other words, antibiotics, the natural antibiotics. And then what's really scary about the virus that we're dealing with right now is that the immune system is what gets out of bounds and what actually the cells of our injures the cells of our lungs and then makes us so hard it makes it so hard to respire, to breathe. So
Yes.
and that's the immune system overreaching to try to fight this infection that what actually does more of an autoimmune problem where it destroys the tissues of your own body and then you get in trouble. Vitamin D not only boosts your immune system, but if it goes too high, it actually dampens that immune system down. So it keeps it in this really sweet spot where it fights the infection, but it doesn't harm the host. And so that's what we want. Vitamin D, probiotics, fruits and vegetables. What else can we name?
Well, just on taking off in your conversation on vitamin D a little bit, the other thing that I love about it, and in our awareness of it, is just the cyclical nature with vitamin D. A lot of, how much are we getting from the sun has to do with our relationship to the location distance to the equator.
Mm.
So we are quite far from the equator. And the further you get along that axis, further away, we are now in that gloomy time of year, less light. It's gradually coming back, but we've turned the corner of equinox, but it still is a low light time with the cloud overlay. So we have to this is why we actually promote using supplementation during this time of year, because, you see all the time, people are more inclined to get illnesses in the wintertime than they are when the windows are open and we're out in the sun. So there's a very valid reason for the importance of that constancy of supplementation during this time frame.
And that's why it's so important right now. I mean, I don't want to put negative thoughts out too much, but we are vulnerable when we don't have enough sunshine.
Yes.
It's good that it does store in our bodies. So what we stored up during the summer, we can feed off of that. But then we're at this time right now where we're at the lowest point, and that makes our immune system vulnerable.
Yes.
Simple answer. You just take some vitamin D. It's amazing to watch in the blood to test it and see it so low, and then 3 to 4 weeks later, after supplementing, see that rise go right up, and just knowing that that vitamin D then is protecting you.
Yeah.
So, what are
Exactly.
we at now? Vitamin D, probiotics, fruits and vegetables, hydration.
Hydration is so important.
Hydration is important. That we're made of water. So my formula is half your body weight in ounces. So if you're 150 pounds, then 75 ounces a day would be a very good goal to make. And if you're not there right now, don't worry, just gradually increase. And so that's real important because all of our mechanisms in the immune system rely on water.
Yes. Another thing I love too is to look at what is a person experiencing symptom wise, and then to match appropriate botanicals. You had mentioned earlier, like we're existing within a culture of anxiety right now, and that anxiety is actually influencing our immune system functioning. And some of us feel that anxiety even greater. It feels quite out of balance, and we're always trying to manage the anxiety. Some botanicals, a botanical like ashwagandha, such an amazing support in terms of calming that autonomic nervous system,
Great.
because we should not be in the sympathetic nervous system all the time. That is really supposed to be reserved for those instances where we need to fight the attacker or to run, or historically those kinds of insults, but it's not supposed to be turned on all the time. But
So
we
if,
live in an age of information overload with too much negativity coming at us, and that's why we have to take seriously the idea of incorporation of botanicals. What I love about herbs is that you're incorporating the entire plant. So that concept of bringing even the unknown aspects of the physiology of the plant into your body is so important. And then seeing how it works on specific conditions. So many of our patients this time of year can feel some depression and anxiety, and it seems accentuated.
so if patients are feeling that way and maybe feeling a little stretched and a little not managing well, that's, I think, I hear you saying, please go see Tanya. Come in and come to the Green Medical Practice. I can access all the knowledge that Tanya has too. So make your appointment with Tanya or I if you're not managing well. We're seeing this every day in our office. We're seeing anxiety and depression, and it's not on it's on the uprise, as you probably know and understand. So don't feel alone, and don't feel like there's something wrong with you, because it's an appropriate response to what's going on. And there are supports out there without having to use psychotropic drugs.
Right.
So that, and where are we at? Hydration, sleep. Sleep is important. Yeah, and there's lots of botanicals for that if you're having a hard time managing sleep. Exercise. Maybe we should spend just a couple minutes on exercise, because there's a kind of a good and a stress point of exercise that we should probably quickly talk about.
Yes. Yeah, because actually too much exercise can stress your hormones in such a way that they start to malfunction. The right amount of exercise, and from a recommendation standpoint, we're looking at like 150 minutes of exercise a week, which doesn't seem like that much over the course of a week. One thing that you and I have explored, though, is this concept of high intensity exercise for very short periods of time, because of the research coming out on that being a way to really stimulate the mitochondria within the cells. And this is also a big issue. Both insomnia and weight gain are two components of menopausal symptoms. And so I personally see a lot of women who are coming in with symptoms. Their blood tests may look okay, but they still have changed, and their body is changing because of these things. So we really want to see, what's going on there, where we can just add that little bit of exercise every day. High intensity is so important because it kind of pushes us for a super short period of time, and then back into rest and restore mode.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, that sounds like it's doable for everybody. And just to say, when the body, because you do oxygenate when you exercise, you take in a lot more oxygen. That means there's going to be oxidative stress on the body, but you need to exercise, but you know that there are some stress. And the way you balance the stress against the exercise is to eat those 9 to 13 servings of fruits and vegetables. They're antioxidants. They will protect your tissues. They will help you recover. So if you have a choice between a Snicker bar and an apple before you go for a run, go for the apple, because both things will give you the sugar to do the exercise and to create the stress, but only the apple will have all the ingredients that will protect you at the end of that exercise.
Yes.
And when you your body is dealing with the stress and needs to recover, all of those amazing ingredients in an apple will then protect you. So that's I think a stressor too, a point of importance too.
Yes, exactly.
So how
That's
are we
exactly
doing?
why I love the idea of whole fruits and vegetables and
Mm,
whole botanicals, because there's so many things within those substances that are not even discovered yet as far as the benefits to our health. And I always say to my patients, start the morning with a smoothie where it's all fruits and vegetables, because you don't want to be at 6 o'clock at night and realize I haven't had anything today worthwhile.
yes, yeah. So I think we're going to wrap up here. But the one thing I wanted to say, we touched on quite a few things today. And
Yes.
we could go into depth on each one of those things. And I think over the next few weeks to few months, we will keep doing this kind of a conversation. And we'll bring in maybe some people that are well versed in these areas, that are more expertise than the usual, and maybe some people that are interested in these topics that could actually speak on a deeper level and a more comprehensive, because we could go on and on about each of these, and it is fun. And I believe the more we do this, it helps me when I hear it over and over, even though these are simple, no brainer, cherry picking uh, strategies. It's just, they're so simple. That's why it's so easy to sort of dismiss sometimes the
Yeah.
power behind each of these steps we can take. There is unbelievable resilience within the human body to be able to withstand, to reject infections, or to incorporate an incredible immune response that which makes you even stronger for other infections. So
Yes.
the idea isn't to make COVID an enemy in the sense that it's going to override you. It's going to be your dearth. It's going to be everything that all these terrible, terrible things. No, with your resilience, the resilience of a child that you are going to incorporate into your own system, we can overcome all of this anxiety and fight the virus.
Yes.
And any last comments before we sign off, Tanya?
Yeah, just, we'd love to be a part of your support system. We have lots of people new to the practice come in and notice that we do things slightly differently. We do with a lot of intention.
Mm,
And we love the relational aspect with our patients, that we're finding more out about you and what your needs are. And we
yes.
love to use our resources to assist you and help you on your journey to health.
We,
So
we have the best patients in the world.
we really do.
We,
That is so true.
we are so thankful for just talking to the patients right now, for your input and for your resilience and for your inspirations. And you make the green medical practice what it is.
Yes.
And we're so thankful, and we have so much gratitude in our hearts. And we just want to embrace you, and let's do that. And then we'll do this again,
Yes.
maybe hopefully on a weekly basis, but whenever we have that opportunity, we're gonna get on the airwaves again. But this is Dr. Schattauer and Tanya McHale, family nurse practitioner, signing off for today. And be sure to Google the Green Medical Practice and find out how to get a hold of us and how to make an appointment. All right. See you later,
Happy New Year.
everybody. Bye bye.
Bye.